engine on, not the grader moving.
Correct.
So that's how we're using the grader. And I forgot to thank Jeff. Jeff is now giving us fuel logs, which have to become part of our routine once we get out of the woods, is my phrase for you guys. Once we're able to do normal things on a regular basis.
Yeah.
More business is
More standard.
it should be.
Say more
So
standard.
this is Jeff that fixes everything.
We'll get there.
Now, we haven't had a chance to look at restoration of the file system. I did see where OneDrive lets you bring what's in the cloud back to a machine, to a new machine, or a machine
Yes.
that's restored.
Correct.
You've seen? Did you do it
No, just documents that I was able to save to the desktop from the cloud.
in
Is that
OneDrive?
what
The
you mean?
OneDrive stuff.
Yeah.
There's two things we need to do: is see where the what's the application that backs up the system, the regular file system. Begins with a C. Carbonite.
That carbonite.
Carbonite.
We need, we haven't had, you and I haven't had a chance to look at where Carbonite put the stuff, or how much stuff.
I can't find it. I've
Okay.
looked.
Carbonite, and then bringing OneDrive back to the desktop,
Right.
so you can get to it even if the internet
Right.
isn't running. Okay. We haven't had time to do any of that.
Nope.
We got email and a call from a gentleman in Granville. This is the guy whose yard was flooding. Remember this guy?
Yeah. Yeah. His
Lopez?
backyard.
Backyard.
Yeah.
I think his basement is too.
Oh yeah.
He,
yeah.
he wanted us to come and see him, come and look at the lot. And we were telling him, this is not a matter of the village, this is a private property
Private
problem.
property,
If you
yeah.
think your neighbors are doing something that's sending water onto your property, that's a civil issue that the village can't get involved in. Unless you think a water main broke, or,
Just,
that's the warrant article?
that's the two warrant articles from last year. One was for the 7,400, 10,000, and but there's another one, replenish highway equipment. But that's,
Yeah, that's to buy equipment.
okay.
So it says, deposited into the equipment CRF for repairs for the International 7400 truck. Can't use it. We need,
Is there a way to address that?
this was supposed to be a warrant article that released it from the equipment repair for the 7400, if you remember, it didn't make it onto the warrant because of administrative error. And we said, no problem, we have it next year to move it off there. Well, now we're looking at needing to use it. So now we need to see if we can get a quote on fixing the Ram truck exhaust for what we can access, which is 7,000. And next year we have to take it off this because they have no intention of fixing this truck in this way.
Right, right. There's no way to address this with
No, we have
a
a
special
special
public meeting
meeting.
or anything like that?
You have to get a judge. No,
Okay, all right.
not practical, not reasonable.
Okay.
Thank you for finding that. Where were we? Lopez.
Granville, yeah.
Yeah, so I talked to this guy and told him that through the grapevine we heard that this was an existing problem with the house before he purchased it, which delighted him.
Yes, one of our DPW knew the former owner.
And then I started recommending what he could do, saying, well, I can't really give you advice, but you should hire a contractor that's gonna solve the problem of the water in your yard.
Okay, but this guy you're talking about is on the main drag. He's
He's on Route 113.
Yes.
So I did go down to Granville after I measured the hole on Grissom and looked at this. We didn't make any changes to the road. There is a lot that was cleared that's kind of in the vicinity. It's hard to tell where his house is. You can't see through the leaves and the trees anymore to see the house. So in the meantime, I see that he's on the town's Facebook page asking for contractors, recommendations for contractors that can fix the problem. So I will communicate back to him that the village looked at it, we didn't make any changes, and also say, I see that you're already trying to fix the problem, and that's that one. So whereas I was trying not to get involved, I ended up having called Hastings. The Hotwell Burn driveway that the three of us looked at with the DPW as part of the extended meeting. The Guy Marino, the owner of the property, was calling or
And
emailing
emailing.
both. Check.
Both.
I called him back and explained to him what we had decided, telling him they didn't need the culvert on the burn side of this lot that goes all the way through the two roads. That we did need a 24-inch culvert. The contractor for this job had also contacted the village asking who the contact person in Eidelweiss was. And the company that's doing the job is Burnham, the Burnham Company, Bernie Quint, who the village had great success having major work done for us. Building Upper Lakeview, section of Upper Lakeview Road, and the Burnham Company was the subcontractor that put the forced water main in from
Up Youngfrau.
Youngfrau to Rhinebeck and did a spectacular job. He did an excellent job. I would like to touch base with Bernie again to see his availability for different types of projects. So I spoke to a guy over the phone. He was a great guy to talk to. Told him he suggested that he get out of the middle, and I talked to Bernie Quint directly. So I called and sent an email to Bernie and gave him my cell phone number and said, I could talk to you about exactly what we need to have happen as we discussed at the meeting. I think he's gonna have a hard time buying that we want a 24-inch culvert, and according to Guy, Bernie said he thought 18 inches was overkill for Burn Drive. Now we're gonna tell him 24, but
Is it only one culvert?
yes.
Yes.
Okay.
We
We're
don't
also
need-
talking about concrete headers, aren't we? In addition.
Stone headers, yeah.
Stone headers,
Stone
yeah.
headers.
I said that to Guy, and I'll be telling Bernie that also.
Okay,
And we also wanted 15 feet away from the corner pin.
right. And this is coming from the best, our DPW people saying that if you don't do that, they're gonna get destroyed, or
I
it's
told
gonna
them that-
destroy our equipment.
We're afraid of flooding and road damage right at his new driveway. And he didn't have any problem. He said, talk directly to Bernie, let's just get this done. Now, Nancy and I worked on getting the budget information into QuickBooks for the water system on Sunday, which took us 2.5 hours, which probably shouldn't have taken us that long, but it did.
That was basically taking the payments we've received to date for the water.
Taking the budget that the annual meeting voted for the water system.
Budget.
Line item by line item, finding the chart of account number that corresponded to it. We did see lots of area improvement on cleaning up both charts of accounts
Yeah.
of the operating budget and the water
Yeah,
budget.
I'm sure there's a lot of superfluous accounts in there.
And I'm hoping that once we get out of the woods, and Jennifer's dying for new things to do, which is what which will happen
That'll be
someday.
never. No.
Cloning me would be easier.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start that project.
Can we have a vote on that, please?
Want to look up all cloning companies and where was I?
Once you basically construct the accounts that,
Oh, yes.
and set up the budget
Yeah,
as
the-
approved.
right.
The chart of accounts aren't in numerical order,
Nope.
and that needs to be fixed. And YouTube has videos on how to fix that. I'm thinking that Catherine Diego has offered us a on-call contract, basically a proposal,
Yeah.
which is great news because she was going to withdraw from having Eidelweiss as her customer.
Completely,
But now
right.
that she's met Jennifer, now she is okay with working for us. And you found it very easy to work with her.
Very.
So she's gonna be like a QuickBooks consultant?
Yes.
Yes.
Help us get our books
Yes.
set up?
When she needs some, and she has a history of our QuickBooks system and the
Yeah.
audits that go
Yeah,
back, so.
and she'll
So this
continue
is
that.
this is a great thing. So, I think Catherine sized us up and thinks that we're okay as people.
I think so too.
So, I think when we get to the point that we can actually go back and fix the chart of accounts in QuickBooks, that Catherine would be a good
A good-
resource there
yeah.
too.
Yeah.
But right now, I think you'll be calling her for situations that you see by the way QuickBooks was handed to you by the previous administration. And also, I bet you there's gonna be situations with the auditor
Yep.
where Catherine has a couple of years of experience. She was basically the point person for the village, where the administrators weren't on QuickBooks.
Yeah.
So that's a good thing. So we got the water system in so we can get a profit and loss report,
A variance analysis.
which we're not gonna have time to get into today.
No.
We're gonna do that in another meeting. And then Nancy wrote minutes for the meeting that we had on Saturday doing all this work. There were no votes, it just says that we came in and did this work. What it didn't say was, we also changed the light bulbs in the staircase. They came from what. And then we decided to go and look at 11 Jungfrau, which weren't in the minutes. We need to add that to the minutes that you wrote for Saturday. 11 Jungfrau has a driveway permit, modification permit, which is not a $200 deposit, it's a $75 deposit to modify an existing driveway. You need to see this. We probably should all go together. We didn't discuss it other than, I sent a message to the guy saying, I looked at it. And the board hasn't made any decisions on it, but I'm recommending that this not get approved. His submission didn't have a side view drawing to show the profile and the negative grade to the road. It showed a surveyor's drawing, a certified plot plan, no drawings in the application.
No.
The driveway is within less than 12 inches from the pin. Not 15 feet, it's 12 inches from it. The driveway comes off the road and goes like this. It has no negative grade. There's a rut down the middle of the gravel driveway that creates a rut across the entire width of the road. And is a half-built house, which he's putting in an application for a water hookup.
Is that the one that just looks like it has no second floor? It's like a flat?
Yes.
Yes, that's been there for years now.
Yes.
Yeah.
So this driveway that's called a rough-in driveway on the certified plot plan has huge stones placed on each side of the driveway. And the driveway's in the wrong place. It needs to be 15 feet away from the pin. And it needs to have a negative grade so it doesn't damage the road. That's a new thing. We're gonna have to go back. For many years, the village was allowing driveways to be permitted that shouldn't have been permitted. And there's a lot of work to go back and fix these things that are damaging our roads. Starts with this one. This guy has to dig that whole thing up to put in the water service line. So it's gonna need excavation equipment, so now's the time to fix that driveway. So we need to officially look at this and
Yeah,
not approve this driveway.
okay.
You looked at it because you're describing it.
Well, I know the
You
house
weren't
you're
looking
talking
at the driveway.
Right, but I
very
know the
well.
house you're talking about.
Right.
Do you need to see it again, Nancy?
Not so much. It was pretty obvious where the water's coming from and that it's coming right out into the road. So is the house next door, but that's a whole separate subject.
Maybe everyone on that street.
There's been a lot of construction on that street recently.
But yeah, so
Habitat.
so it definitely needs to be reviewed. But one of the things is we had an inspection form for driveways that we could actually fill in and write all the different notes from the different places that we look, like the 24 culvert for Burn. And then that becomes part of the driveway permit process. And I think we should
Find that.
try to
resurrect it?
find and resurrect it.
Resurrect.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought there was an ordinance for driveways that builders are supposed to adhere to.
Well, usually they get a copy of the driveway permit, the driveway ordinance.
Ordinance, yeah.
But there was, and then the driveway ordinance has a construction and operation. But there was a step in the middle for the inspection that we can try to find and look back through and find a
So there
proper
was a step
inspection
omitted.
form, and then that way the contractors can have it the homeowner can have it, we will have it, and then nobody's going, now was this the one that we needed this extra, you know? We'll have it right there with the driveway permit stuff, so.
Pete Carrard did the inspections for years as
I'm thinking of Pete's report.
he filled in these forms. He also took before and after pictures which were part of the file, which were very valuable.
Yep.
And that stopped 10 years ago also.
But it's Pete's form that I'm thinking
Yeah.
of, so it's a very old
We
form,
need to get back to that.
You
You
can
know.
find it,
but, yeah.
yeah.
Or we can create one, you know, but it's definitely, it's something that I was thinking that would be a benefit for all of us.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense to me.
And I'm gonna stop my commission's report there. I'm sure I have other stuff that I'll think of, but not this week. So you have the floor with your report.
Yeah, most everything was covered during the meeting that I was gonna bring up, but do one thing, I did retouch bases with Dawson, to talk with Abigail, and Abigail said according to their schedulers, they're looking at late June to come finish up the Upper Lakeview PRV project. And I said, okay, I'll tell you what, in the meantime, a lot sooner than that, please get us a written scope of work that needs to be done to finish up that project as soon as you can. And she said, okay, I'll try and get that done this week. So if we don't, I said,
That's
send it
great.
to the VDOE office. And if we don't get it by the end of the week, I'll follow up with them again. But once we've got that written scope of work in, then the next key is just when June, when we start getting first, second week of June, then probably we're just gonna have to pester them as to, okay, you told us late June, give us a firm date.
Good,
The first step is to get that scope of work so we know what's gonna be happening.
that's great.
That's all I have.
Anything, Nancy?
My thing was the driveway permit and creating or finding an old, one of the inspection reports, so, and we just already did that, so.
I guess one of the comments we should say is the highway guys were delighted to see 3 commissioners out doing an inspection of a driveway with them.
That's fun, I mean, we're all together doing
hadn't
that.
seen-
It's been,
Yeah.
it's been many years, but there have been times in history where it was a fairly regular thing on any questionable driveway.
Right.
You know, any super slope or anything like that, so.
Well, what I love about
I'd
our
like to
two
get
highway
into it.
people is they want us there. They want
Yeah.
us involved. They want one big giant team looking at this with multiple eyes, discussing it and all coming to a consensus.
Mhm.
So
Okay,
that was a good thing.
public comments for non-agenda items. Any public comments? We exhausted the audience too. So the next
We're going
meeting
on
will
3
be
hours, yeah.
Tuesday, May 21st here at 9 o'clock. And I'll make a motion to go into non-public session under the 91A for protecting reputation and for discussing employee compensation. Do we hear a second, Nancy?
Second,
It's a roll call vote. Nancy, how do you vote to go into non-public session?
aye.
Hi.
Wood votes aye, and I vote aye. Thank you, Adrian.